This video was created to help guide you through the process of filling out the U.S. CBP 3299 form. This form is a critical component of the paperwork required to conduct a cross-border move. It is important to have your CBP 3299 form filled out properly and well ahead of your intended move date to ensure your cross-border move goes smoothly. Remember, if you should need clarification on any sections of the form, you can always contact the United States CBP directly for more information. If you have any questions about the process or what documents are needed for your cross-border move, our skilled team of moving consultants at TransCanada Movers are here to help. Let's get started with Part 1, Section 1, Importer's Name. For the purposes of this document moving forward, the importer refers to the owner of the goods that are intended to be moved across the border. Fill in the full name, as it appears on your passport in this section. Section 2, Importer's Date of Birth. Section 3, Importer's Date of Arrival. This section refers to your most recent entry into the United States. If you have not yet crossed into the United States, but have confirmed travel itineraries, you can enter the date you intend on crossing here. If you have not yet crossed the border and are unsure when you intend to do so, please contact your TransCanada Movers moving consultant for more guidance. It is very important to ensure the dates noted on this form are accurate, as failure to input the correct information can result in a rejection from the U.S. border officials. Section 4. Importer's U.S. Address. Indicate the address at which you will be residing once you have entered the U.S. If you have not finalized a permanent residence in the States, please communicate with your TCM moving consultant, as more detail may be required ahead of your intended moving date. Section 5. Importer's Port of Arrival. Indicate the port of arrival upon your immediate entry into the U.S. Depending on how you plan on entering the United States, the answer to this section will vary. For example, if you are arriving by plane, you would indicate the airport via 3-digit airport code that you intend to arrive at upon entry into the U.S. If you are planning to enter the United States via road transport through one of the border crossing points, you would indicate the appropriate name of the border point and the location here. Section 6. Name of arriving vessel carrier and flight/train. Again, depending on how you plan on traveling to the States, your answer to this question will vary. If you are planning to travel via commercial transportation like a plane or a bus, you would indicate the relevant flight or bus number here. If you are planning to drive across the border in your personal vehicle, indicate personal vehicle. Section 7. Names of accompanying household members. Indicate the relevant individuals who will be traveling with you upon your entry into the United States. If you are planning to travel alone, you can leave this section blank. Remember, every individual listed on this document must also hold a valid residency status in the United States. If you have any questions surrounding the documents required, feel free to contact your TCM moving consultant for more information. For the purposes of preparing this form ahead of your moving date, Section 8 should be left blank. Part 2, Section 9. Residency. This line refers to your residency abroad, in this case Canada, once you enter the United States. Depending on whether you plan on permanently emigrating to the United States or are moving temporarily, your answer to this section will vary. For example, if you are planning to permanently emigrate after your move, you would indicate that your residence was in Canada and the relevant length of time you have resided there. If you are moving temporarily and will eventually return to Canada, you would indicate that Canada is your residence and the relevant length of time you have resided there. In Part 9, Section C, indicate the relevant section describing your status upon entry into the United States. Part 2. Section 10. Statements of eligibility for free entry of articles. Depending on your residency status upon entry into the United States and the most appropriate descriptions relating to your goods intended to be shipped, you would check off the relevant fields in Sections A, B, and C accordingly. If you have any questions regarding the applicability of these descriptions and how they may relate to the goods you intend on transporting, feel free to contact the U.S. CBP directly. Part 3 should be left blank as this section is meant to be completed by U.S. personnel and evacuees only. Part 4 is to be filled out by the importer and relates to the contents of the goods intended to be shipped into the U.S. Remember to read each section carefully and check off all of the fields that apply to the contents of your goods. For the purposes of preparing your form ahead of the move, please fill out column number 2 in Part 4, Section D of this form. Your description of merchandise should encompass what you intend on moving. Once you finish this column, you should check in with your TCM moving consultant to ensure your inventory is in line with what you've told us you intend on shipping. It is important that your declaration of articles is an accurate representation of your goods intended to be shipped to avoid any issues with the US CBP. Part 5 is meant to be filled by your carrier and should be left blank when preparing your form. Part 6 Sections 1, 2, and 3 should be filled out last once you've verified that your 3299 form has been completed correctly. It is important to follow the instructions in this section, as this form needs to be executed in ink, meaning no electronic signatures. Remember, your carrier will need the finalized original copy of this form on pickup day. If you are not going to be present on pickup or have other travel restrictions, please communicate this with your TCM moving consultant ahead of time. Keep in mind that this document is an official and protected form of the U.S. Customs and Border Protection Agency. Any declarations made on this form are considered full and final, and any misrepresentations may be deemed a criminal offense. The information provided in this video is intended solely for general guidance and informational purposes, and does not constitute legal or professional advice. The content of this video is not affiliated with, nor does it officially represent the United States Customs and Border Protection Agency. Trans-Canada Movers, the company, its employees, officers, directors, and agents, are not responsible for any errors, omissions, or for the results obtained from the use of this information. The company disclaims any and all liability to any person or entity for any loss or damage caused, or alleged to be caused, directly or indirectly as a result of the use, application, or interpretation of the material presented in this video. The completion and submission of the US 3299 form, or any other customs forms, are the responsibility of the individual completing the form. The company does not provide, and this video should not be construed as providing, specific instructions or recommendations for the completion of these forms. For specific guidance, users should consult the appropriate U.S. governmental agencies or a legal professional. If you have any questions or need assistance regarding this form or its completion, please contact the United States Customs and Border Protection Agency directly. Do not rely solely on this video for making decisions related to your international shipment. Always consult with the appropriate professionals before making such decisions.